Wave is here. Check her out. Hi, little cutie. How are you? What a good mama. Yeah, trying to feed her lots so she can make those babies strong. Good girl. Say hi. Now Wink is here too. Check it out. There's the whole family. There's Winkle Dinkle Boy and Wave. And they're just chowing down on their dinner. So cute. All right, so yesterday I was diagnosed with endometriosis. So I had an appointment with my new doctor who treats endometriosis, infertility, general pelvic pain, and it was a really good appointment. I mean, she was just so validating. Almost immediately we'd submitted a lot of paperwork, so she had obviously read all of it and just kind of out of the gate said, look, I think you have endometriosis. I'm going to treat you for it. We have a ton of blood work coming up. We're going to change my birth control to just a progesterone. Why does progesterone always sound wrong? I'm really tired, so if I say stuff that sounds wacky, I have a ton of brain fog. I'm really tired. I'm out of it. It's been emotional, but there's an estrogen one and a progesterone one. Let me Google it. I just keep psyching myself. I like progesterone. I think they're the same thing. Maybe not. But anyway, so we're gonna do that. A really, really strong birth control because the doctor thinks that because of my age and just because I was on like a lower dose, maybe I was continuing to ovulate through that pill. And again, I took the pill for acne, but you know, maybe I mean I was having pain during the ovulation part of my cycle. Endometriosis tends to flare either during your period, right after, or around your ovulation point. So that would be really interesting. Maybe that would help the pain cycle stop at least. That would be incredible because that's been extremely debilitating. So we're gonna do that. She's gonna put me on a med like Orlissa or something like that that is used to suppress endometriosis. All right, we're back. I lost battery there. You know, now I don't even remember what I was saying. Oh, Orlissa is something. It's some med that suppresses endometriosis, you know, the tissue from growing, and they do that and people usually feel better on it, and then they sometimes still go in and do the surgery to take out, you know, the endometrial tissue that's in the wrong place, or if it's adhering some of your organs together, they do that as well. So yeah, that is kind of the plan. They're gonna do a ton of blood work. They're also gonna do, you know, an ultrasound and other exams next week as well. So a lot of steps. She also talked a ton about lifestyle changes that are recommended, not required, but that tend to really help women with endometriosis. So some of those included dietary changes. So she really talked a lot about eating dairy from Europe and not here in America, because her theory is that the GMOs, Roundup, and all these pesticides and stuff get into our food, even if they are organic or non-GMO, but in Europe they don't have any of that. She also talked a lot about eating gluten. I've been gluten-free for so many years now, maybe 6 years, I don't even know, a long time. And she said even gluten-free stuff in America has a lot of bad stuff in it. So she said eat gluten from Europe, and a lot of people, it is actually a different kind of wheat. A lot of people that are gluten intolerant here in America can eat gluten in other countries. So that would be incredible. If I could actually add something back into my diet, I would be incredibly grateful for that, because it's just felt like diet after diet has been incredibly stressful and only been restrictive. I've not felt any better on any of them. And that was kind of part of the emotional part after the appointment yesterday. A lot of what she was saying was great and really exciting and so validating. Like, she basically started out, you know, she read all my documents and stuff, and she said, so it seems like you have a high pain tolerance. And I said, yeah, you know, I broke my arm once and I didn't even cry. She said, were you an athlete? And I said, you know, yeah, before I got sick at 14, I was playing 3-4 sports that summer. And she was like, okay, what pain level are you at now? And I was like, I mean, I'm not in a pain cycle right now, but it's probably like a 6. And she said, yeah, that's just, you know, that's, first of all, it's unacceptable to be in that much just living pain. But basically from that, she said, you know, and reading all the other stuff I'd submitted, she said, I think you have endometriosis. And so that was incredibly validating to get a diagnosis and to get someone who's like, I completely understand what you're going through, I really think you have this. But I felt very triggered, not from anything she did, but because like the herbalist I saw earlier this year, I mean, he said, I know exactly what you have and I can treat you. And so a lot of the stuff that he had said, you know, she said, because she said, you know, I see a lot of other patients that have similar symptoms to you and their life just stops, and then I can help them get their life back on track. And it's not that I don't trust her, I just don't trust anyone at this point, because so many doctors have said stuff like that, you know. Years ago, like 10 years ago, when I was being treated for Lyme, I saw doctors who would say like, I'm going to put you through my treatment protocol and you're going to feel better, and I never did. And so there was this kind of PTSD that came up from having all these people say that they knew exactly what was wrong with me and try treating me, and I didn't respond to it. If I had endometriosis this whole time and it was causing all of my symptoms and no one figured that out until now, then that would make sense that they would try to treat me for the things that weren't causing it. But I just have this fear of giving my hope up and it not being that, or it not solving my symptoms, and it's literally PTSD. Like I kind of broke down after the appointment, and I was so excited during the appointment. I was smiling, I was so validated and felt so good to have someone who was like, I really think this is what you have, because I've been saying I think I have endometriosis. I have so many of the symptoms of it. I've done so much research on it, and it all makes sense, it all connects, you know. But it's just been a really difficult journey, especially these last couple of weeks. I mean, really in the last week I've been incredibly depressed. I just was really nervous that I would get all my hopes and expectations up for this appointment, and then if she had said like, I don't think you have this, it was kind of my last hope. And so it's just this mixed bag that's incredibly stressful, because I'm so grateful that it seems like maybe we found the solution, but I'm really scared to get my hopes up and to be let down again by, you know, yet another diagnosis or yet another treatment that doesn't work. It's just a really mixed bag of emotions. It'll be really interesting to try some of these dietary changes, to get some of these tests done, to try that medication that suppresses endometrial tissue where it's not supposed to be growing, and see if I do feel better. I think it was 5 weeks on that medication, and then she like reassesses and sees where you're at. So maybe in a month and a couple weeks, because I won't start it probably till next week, we might have some answers. That's my hope. She also talked about intermittent fasting and that being really helpful for her patients. So I'm gonna look into that. One of my mentors, actually several of my mentors have done it, but my one mentor has done the 36-hour one. She's even done like a 13-day one. So I'm really interested into looking into that, but I'm also cautious about the dietary changes because that's been really unhealthy for me in the past. It's been really restrictive. It's triggered my eating disorder stuff, and I'm not really recovered from the last one when the herbalist put me on that no sugar, no carb diet, and all I could think of was food, and I didn't feel any better. And so yeah, I think it'll be really interesting to see what happens. I mean, she also talked about water is really important. We have a well water, but we have an RO filter on ours, reverse osmosis, and she said, all right, that should be good. She also talked about a lot of her patients, she said, have been having issues since, you know, getting the COVID vaccine, and I tried to get a quarter dose because we thought that my system might react to it because I'm just so sensitive right now. And I mean, that destroyed my life like a year and a half ago. I started having chest pain, chest pressure. I couldn't like breathe properly. I mean, I have not been able to wear a bra in that long because the compression, I already feel like I can't breathe, and the compression makes me feel like can't breathe even more. Labored breathing, extreme fatigue from the vaccine. And she basically said like, yeah, I've seen a ton of patients who have had chest pain after that and other issues. So, you know, we were talking about how to try to feel better from that. She talked about a what was that thing called? Oh, a Navage. She talked about a Navage, which is like kind of like a neti pot, and I do use a neti pot when I have like a cold or something. But she said the Navage is actually this machine that you can use a lot more frequently, could actually help, so that like if we, you know, are going out and are afraid we've been exposed to COVID or something else, it could help flush it from our system, since a lot of those are like respiratory illnesses. So my mom actually immediately bought a Navage because we do use a neti pot and we do find that it's helpful. And So I might be doing like an unboxing of a Navage and trying it out. I'm excited for that. That sounds like a really good lifestyle change, actually. She was also really excited about my vlog channel. Actually, she's done some like YouTube videos herself, and she was like, that's such a good outlet of sharing information for other patients that could help other people. Really excited that she was excited about it and that I can kind of share. She recommended a lot of like different topics to kind of YouTube and research, so I'm gonna look into some of those and see what's interesting, but not overwhelm myself with doing research and depressing myself on all the things that are out there, you know. So yeah, I mean, that kind of sums up the appointment. Look at these two cuties. Look at them. They are just hanging out after they ate their meal. What adorable little babies. Yeah, that is that. I'm gonna be getting a lot of blood work, a lot of tests done in the next couple weeks, starting those meds, starting a whole new journey of, you know, if this is it, fingers crossed, I'm hoping that I could get my life back. Because she said she's seen so many patients that are, you know, doctors, athletes, nurses that are real go-getters, and their life just feels like it's ended because of this disease. And she said she's helped them get their lives back, and that's what's happened in my life. Is, you know, I've not had good health for the last like 11 years, which would actually make sense. I mean, I got sick when I was 14 with Lyme. I did have a positive Lyme test. You can have a false positive Lyme test, but maybe I also did have Lyme. But I think that was around the time when I got my first period. And if this is endometriosis, it is a progressive disease, so it would make sense that however many years later, now I'm completely debilitated, but I've never been healthy during those 11 years. I've always had extreme fatigue, and just the symptom list kept growing. And then this year is when it really ended up being a ton of, they thought I had a burst ovarian cyst, which I could have the first time, but I've just had cyclical debilitating pain every 4 weeks for the last like 4 or 5 months, and a ton of GI symptoms have been really bad as well, and all my GI symptoms could be from endo. So like my list of like 50 symptoms, most of them could be from endometriosis. So I'm really excited, I'm really tired, and so this couldn't have come at a better time. And did you meow? Meow? Was that you? Meow? I think Wink just meowed at me. The other night, Wink purred for me for the first time. I was petting his head, and there was a little grumbly, rumbly noise. It was a purr. Just for me. Felt very excited about that. So yeah, speaking of the cats, Wave, her kittens were 3 weeks old yesterday. So by 4 weeks, so in less than a week, they should be able to eat food on their own. So fingers crossed that that girl brings her children here and we can feed them, because they won't need to nurse all the time. At that point, they can eat other food. So I'm hoping she brings her kittens here, and then we can get everybody spayed and neutered. So yeah, it's just been tough, but I'm really hoping that we have flipped it around, and this is hopefully only up from here once the treatment starts. So fingers crossed. I will keep you all updated, and we'll see where the journey takes us next. So hope you have a fabulous day, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye.